Predator here, back with the Monster Energy NASCAR League for the AAA Texas 500. We were having issues with microphones. I will be your host for tonight's race as we are gearing for the final three races heading into Homestead. Currently, we have 6 drivers trying to get into the final 4. Obviously, Beej, as we were talking about earlier in the broadcast, Beej and Remix are sitting 40 and 50 points below the cutoff line, so they need to win this race heading into Texas and Phoenix. We're going to try to get some people in tonight, talk to some of the playoff drivers before qualifying starts. We'll try to broadcast qualifying since we missed a big portion of practice and go from there. So just sit back, enjoy. I'm going to read off the points real quick and where everybody stands, and I'll continue updating that here in a few moments. So as of right now, we have Slade sitting first. He is 2 points ahead of JC and 3 points ahead of Sports. They're pretty much locked in, unless Beej and Remix win Texas and Phoenix heading into Homestead. So and then, like I said, Smoke is the 4th competitor. He is sitting 40 points ahead of Remix, and he is sitting 43 points ahead of Beej. So both SHR guys, Remix and Beej, need to win Texas and Phoenix if they both want to have a chance to fight in the championship 4. As we were talking about earlier, the past 2 races here at Texas, the driver who wins stage 1 wins stage 2, but fails to get that final nail in the coffin, as you would say, go and try to win that race. We saw Predator, myself, I won stage 1 and stage 2 in the Truck Series race. Did not do good going down pit road with a green flag pit stop late in the race. Ended up losing the race. Texas ended up giving the bumper to teammate Sports Kid, and Texas would actually win his first time at his home track in any league, any organization. It took him 7 years. We go into the Xfinity race last night. S'mores, who was subbing for Logan for the 19 of Joe Gibbs Racing, ended up winning stage 1 and stage 2, and a late caution would cost myself, Predator, a victory, and the winner of that race was Money, who secured his spot into the final 4, or I should say final 3, heading into the Xfinity Series. Tonight will be very, very interesting. We should have all 6 drivers in the playoffs in this race. Nobody's locked in to the next round with the 41 subbing. I think it's Kevron who was subbing for football, and he's going to be subbing for him tonight. So he won Martinsville, but he did not get that car locked into the next round. So we got qualifying coming up. I'm going to try to at least get some drivers into this lobby and try to have a couple interviews. If not, obviously we'll have post-race interviews with everybody and go from there. So we did get an invite going to qualifying. However, we are going to wait until we get the good to go to start broadcasting the qualifying. So like I was saying in the earlier broadcast, I am looking at the Hendrick Motorsports guys. Obviously Texas, JC, those guys really are stepping up their game late in the playoffs and late in the season. And obviously Sports Kid. Sports Kid has been on a roll lately. He's a favorite going into the championship 4. I got my eye on those 3 guys. But the dark horse, obviously Remix. Remix has shown that he can show up in a must-win situation, just like Indianapolis, just like Dover, where he's in a must-win situation and ends up getting that win to advance himself into the playoffs and into the next round. So that's my dark horse. If you guys have any comments, leave them down in the comments. Who do you think is going to win? Who's your dark horse? And I hope you enjoy the race. It looks like we got a good field tonight. I would say at least 10 cars showed up, 8, 9, or 10 cars. So some of them being drivers that are outside of the playoffs, like Mike Mann, like Bradley, and so on and so forth. Darth Bud, driver of the number 88 Exalta Chevrolet. Obviously Texas trying to get his second win at his home track. He blew an engine going into the Xfinity race, so he was not able to compete last night. He showed up, practiced really well, qualified really well, and then blew his engine before we even started the race. So that kind of sucks for him. But as we are gearing up, I believe that they are starting qualifying. I have not got the green light to join yet. But as we are sitting and waiting, let's talk about Slade and Smoke. Slade and Smoke, definitely they showed up midway through the season, dominated. Slade winning, I believe, 6 or 7 races, along with Smoke winning a handful of races. Ended up getting themselves into the playoffs, and really haven't proved themselves ever since we got onto the new engines, I suppose, if you want to call them new engines, or the new game. Obviously, Slade hasn't won. I believe he won earlier in the playoffs, but has not performed really well. He finished 8th last week, and Smoke finishing 5th last week, 4th or 5th last week in the Martinsville race. So both of them are struggling late in the playoffs, and you can't have that happen. Obviously, you can have Beach and Remix win Texas and Phoenix and put themselves into the championship 4. That would knock 2 guys out, one of them being Smoke. He's on that playoff bubble, as we were talking about earlier, with 40 points ahead of Remix. And then we are, I believe the next one would be Sports Kid, who is about 50 points ahead of Remix. So still waiting. I believe that they're going to do qualifying. We're not going to broadcast that. However, we're going to continue with this broadcast. Texas is a really fun track. It's very, very fast. You have no limits, as they used to say, or they always say for Texas, no limit Texas. A lot of good battling. We had a lot of good battles in the Truck Series. Not a lot of caution in the Truck Series. I believe we only had 1 caution in the Xfinity Series last night. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody runs. If anybody's going to be patient, and if any of the non-playoff drivers are going to show up and spoil anybody's parade and not get anybody locked into the championship 4. So another good, interesting race is going to be next week at ISM Raceway, and other known as Phoenix Raceway, with the how they made the track, where turn 1 turned into turn 4 and turn 4 turned into turn 1. So it's very interesting. A lot of people are going to try to use that dog leg on the restarts, and they're not allowed to. So that's going to be very, very interesting heading into ISM Raceway. Who's going to win the recreated ISM Raceway, or Phoenix? All right, they just finished up qualifying, so we're going to wait to get the green light to join the race. We'll miss the first lap, unfortunately, but hang in there with us as we are gearing up for the AAA Texas 500 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. I'm still waiting to get that green light, so therefore we can join. A lot of people are anticipating this race, and we have confirmation that the 41 of Chevron won the pole for the AAA Texas 500, subbing for football in the 41 car, and we are able to join now. So give me 1 second here. So we got Chevron first, second Mike Man, third is Slave, fourth is Smoke, fifth is somewhere. Let's see. Fifth is Sports, sixth is Remix, seventh is Darth Bud, eighth is Texas, ninth Beej, 10th Bradley, 11th JC. As we are now able to load in. It's going to be a very slick track tonight. A lot of people are going to be moving around. But the main focus is going to be on that inside line going into turn 1 and turn 3. Yes, it is NASCAR Heat 3, Alejandro. As we are waiting to join in. It looks like the 41 of Chevron is really pushing it. Slade is sitting in second. He's trying to get to the back bumper of the 41. But all over the 41 is the 95 of Sports Kid. And right behind him is the 88. And as we're 3 wide, Mike Man is in the wall. As the 17 and the 10 get by, almost made contact with the 24 there. What this means to any playoff driver, well, that means a lot, as we are still 3 wide back there of the 10, the 4, and the 48. As we are looking at Chevron, trying to hold off the 95 of Sports Kid. Sports Kid looking to get his first win at Texas here. Gets him locked into Homestead. Everybody is trying to get locked into Homestead. Looks like Chevron separated himself, but we have this large pack behind him, and that draft is really going to come into effect as Sports Kid is really pulling away from Darth Bud there. You don't want to get too out of the groove there. Let's go back in the field with Mike Man trying to make a pass on Bradley. He's going to push him. Remember, he started second, so he fell all the way back into this back pack with Bradley as he smacks the wall there, having issues already. And one of the drivers we're going to keep our eye on is that 43 of Slade using that U.S. Air Force Chevy Camaro. Not really doing good. He still has that points lead, but you know, anything can happen at any time and kick him out of the playoffs with the 10 and the 4 winning Phoenix and obviously Texas tonight. But it looks like we have a 3-car separate. You know, we got the 41 of Chevron, 95 of Sports Kid, and 43 of Slade. Right behind him is Smoke, also not doing so good in the playoffs so far, but breathing down his neck is the 24 car of Texas Tech. Would love to get his second win at his home track this weekend. Obviously, he won the truck race earlier. Oh, he got into the apron there. Got into the apron, hit the wall. He's gonna fall back. It looks like he's not gonna get, or he is gonna get out of their way. It didn't look like it. Ooh, somebody getting in the grass. It looked like Mike Man. Mike Man. Now it's gonna be 3 wide with the 19, the 48, the 48 and 24 make contact. Still early in the race, but big problems for the 24 as he goes from 4th to dead last now as he's pushing the 4 car of Beej. And Kevron's still holding that lead. Does not look like the 95 of Sports Kid is gonna catch him anytime soon. We are gonna have green flag pit stops if the caution does not come out before the stage ends. But it looks like the 43 is now catching up to the 95 as the 41 barely kisses the wall, and the 88 back in the pack. He's having problems. He smacked the big wreck coming out of turn 4. Big playoff implications here as the 4 and the 48 get caught up into it. And caution's going to be coming out. So this is going to open up the door for a lot of drivers getting their adjustments in, as we are default, but getting their adjustments in and seeing who's going to have the faster car there. But it looked like the 88 ended up coming off turn 4 a little too hot, got into the outside wall there, and just was very slow, and the 4 car had nowhere to go and got in the back of him, collecting the 48 as well. It looks like the 88 actually stays out. If not, he took 2 tires as we were coming to the green. Green flag back in the air. The 41 did not get a good jump. The 88 ends up taking the lead now. And that outside lane. It looks like the 10 car. And big wreck 24 of Texas Tech spins around. It looked like the 10 car ended up getting into the outside wall there. And as we see, the 95 is actually going to pass the 88 here. But it looked like what happened was the 10 car got into the outside wall, which I don't know how the 24 spun, but he spun, and now he's all the way back in the pack. And then along with the 19 of Mike Man and the 4 Beej, 48 of JC. Looks like those 2 cars, the playoff cars, especially the 4 car of Beej, struggling early on, as we see the 10 car of Remix for some reason all the way down on the apron here. I don't know what happened to him, but he has fallen way off pace now. Looks like a loose car. But as we were saying, the 10 car and the 4 car in must-win situations, as it looks like the 4 got into the back of 17, drug the 18 up into the inside or the outside wall there. Beej needs all the points he can get along with Remix. And maybe that's the aggression we're seeing with the number 4 car, moving guys out of the way, trying to make passes as he gets in the grass there. .41 leading that pack, but up front is the 95 of Sports Kid, and right behind him is Slade, points leader in the playoffs, and the driver who got knocked out at Kansas, the 42 car of Bradley, trying to get his first win in the 2018 season. I see some guys not really going and committing towards that bottom line yet, or towards that white line. As, it looks like the 43 is going to try to make it to the outside lane, challenge him on the outside lane. Let's see if he's going to have the grip. He's not, as he fails to try to get around the 95. The 42 is going to tuck in right behind the 95 now. As you see, the 43 having some issues. 43 doesn't have to be too aggressive. He just needs the 4 and the 10 not to win the next 2 weeks. I'm going to go back of the pack here. Smoke now in the very back of this pack. You also have the remix there, number 10 car. After that collision early on, and for some reason, him getting onto the apron. I still don't know why he got onto the apron there. .41 trying to look on the inside of the 88. That's for 6th place there. It's not going to happen. Still up front, 95, 42, 43 looks like he dropped back some. Still has that draft. Again, they don't need to be too aggressive. The guys that are sitting above the playoff spot, they are 40, 50, almost 60 points ahead of the 4 car of Beej and the 10 car of Remix. They don't need to get aggressive. They don't need to go out and try to make an aggressive move. Obviously, a win would be nice. Try to get yourself locked into the next round. But the main focus is if the 4 car and the 10 car can win tonight and next week. As we're going to go back into this pack. Kevron leading this pack along with Darth Bud. Behind him is JC of the 48, your regular season champion. And Beej trying to make a move on the 48 car, just cannot do it. Looks like Mike Man's gonna let Remix by. A non-playoff driver letting a guy that is a must-win situation. And on that cutoff line, 40 points ahead of Remix, that 17 car. Up ahead, we're going to have the 95. The 42 gets really, really tight coming off of turn 2, trying to make something work. As the 95 is now getting more and more comfortable as we're getting closer to the end of the stage. Looks like Kevron fell back. So leading that pack right now is the 88 of Darth Bud, 48 of JC, playoff driver. Kevron trying to look into the inside, not going to happen. And right behind him, teammate Beej. Again, as we continue saying, Beej is in a must-win situation. He has to win Texas. He has to win Phoenix. One of those races if he wants to continue to fight for a championship. As it looks like Darth Bud got out of the groove there. Beej and Kevron is going to take advantage of that. And it looks like the 24 car is now getting lapped. As he was one of the hometown favorites as he was heading into his hometown track, or home track I should say. Having issues early going as he gets in the wall there. That 95 car is really pulling away. As we are locked on Beej right now. Trying to get past his teammate now. Now the thing is with Texas, it's a 1-lane groove. It's always going to be on the inside. So you're going to rely on the person in front of you to make that hole. So therefore you can advance your position. If nobody's going to make that hole for you towards the end of the race, and as we see, the 43 now, looks like the 43 and the 48 got into it. As Kevron gets past them, something is wrong with Slade. Slade was sitting third, and now he is falling back. As we see Mike Man now pitting. Maybe having some issues there. Oh, Beej moves the 48 car out of the way. Again, one of the guys that has to be aggressive to get the points that they need in order to make the next round of the playoffs. As we see Smoke now heading down pit road. And the 10 car of Remix heading down pit road. Some guys making early stops. As the 95 Sports Kid has pulled away from Bradley. Bradley finally gets around the 24 of Texas Tech. As we see, looks like the 10 car is lagging. He's going to have to hold off the 95. He is lagging really bad. Or that's not the 95, excuse me. That's Mike Man. We got Darth Bud sitting behind. Looks like the 41 is going to let the 4 go by. And because of that, the 88 is going to get by the 41. So the 4 car now, I believe, sitting third as he is trying to get as much points as he needs. As we see now the 42 pitting. So going to give up second place. There's a 17 car. He pitted early. There's 95 of Sports Kid. Remember, one of the guys I was rooting for had a strong truck in the Truck Series, had a strong car in the Xfinity Series. Was really hoping that he can get the sweep this weekend. It unfortunately did not, but he could still punch his ticket to Homestead as we see Remix. And again, Remix and Beej are in a must-win situation right now. So with Remix having troubles in the early going, he needs to really step up, as it looks like he's still having problems with either lag or, I mean, it does look like lag. Beej is going to let the 88 car go by. The 42 with fresher tires. 42 is not going to make it 3 wide as Beej lets the 88 and the 42 go. And here's the 95. 24 still lap down, but I believe he pitted. Beej is going to sit fourth. And there's your regular season champion. Something is not right. I think he's very, very slow on the track right now. Kevron, your pole winner. And there's Sports Kid, your leader, who has pulled away, obviously having pit stops during this green flag run. Only one caution so far today. Ten cars still having issues. Really, really looking laggy right now. And I believe that is the 88. He's coming down, of Darth Bud. Come down to get 4 tires and Snorkel fuel. One of the guys that needs to win. Beej, he hasn't pitted yet, but I'm surprised he's actually holding the 42 off right now with the older tires, as the 42 is going to try to look to the outside, and he's going to let him go. The 43 cars getting in the grass there. '95 with a comfortable lead, as he's going to let the 48 go. 48 has fresher tires. He already pitted. So I believe the only cars that have not pitted are the 95 and the 4 95 being Sports Kid and 4 being Beej, as they're trying to take some gambles, as 95 is now going to pull down, and he is going to make it, but I don't know if he's going to get a penalty or not. It did look like a speeding penalty on my screen. And with that, that means the 4 car is going to take the lead. Beej is going to lead a lap. Points he needs. So when is Beej going to pit? As he takes the lead, he's going to have to pit soon. .95 of Sports Kid finally comes out. Maybe not a penalty. It looks like Beej is finally coming down pit road. So that's going to give up the lead. I believe it would cycle back to 95 of Sports Kid. But it looks like everybody's separated now. 10 cars connection looks a lot better now, as Beej is finally coming out of pit road. There's the 24 car of Texas Tech having issues early in the race. Beej finally getting up through the gears. There's Bradley coming out of the quad oval. So it seems like everybody's spread out now, besides the 41 and the 43, as it looks like they're going to make contact. Maybe not. There's Mike Mann of the 19 Peak Antifreeze. 43 cars in the wall here. He is not doing good in the playoffs so far. He has a really, really decent lead, you know, being the points leader, but you're going to have a really, really good run at Homestead if you're going to win a championship. There's Smoke running by himself. And I believe this is your leader of the 95 car, as I believe that is the stage. Yes, stage is over. And I believe Sports Kid is going to be your stage winner. So, who won that stage? Kevron won the stage. Okay, thank you.
Guys, I know the wheel's not as loose.
Alright, so Kevron is going to be your leader going into the green flag here, with a 43 car beside him, as we're back underway. Green flag back in the air. Again, that outside lane does not get a good jump at all, and that stacks everything up. Back of the pack. Remix is going to fall back to the pack. He's one of the guys that has to win either Texas or Phoenix. Kevron gets moved. JC's going to take the lead, make it 3 wide. Slade still on the outside, trying to make that outside lane work. As they're side by side, the 48 and 43 battling real hard. It's going to be drag race on the backstretch. Who's going to take the lead? And the 43 finally clears the 48. So the outside lane does work as the grip is finally coming into the track. So JC sits right behind him. Then you have Bradley in the 42 as the 88, it looks like, puts the 95 into the wall there. 95 is not going to be happy about that. Affiliated teams. Rumors of Sports Kid going to Hendrick Motorsports, not confirmed. Again, it's going to be the silly season. So it's going to be very, very interesting. As the 95 finally tucks in, the 4 car and the 10 car sitting back of the pack. As now Slade has put the jets on, and this is the Slade we've seen in the early season, with him winning all those races. Mike Mann all the way in the back of the pack. There's Slade. Right behind him is the 42 of Bradley. And right behind him is JC. And Bradley gets in the wall here. So that moves everything around, with JC now second, 41 of Chevron third, 95 of Sports Kid sitting fourth. As we're going to have a battle. Well, I thought it was going to be a battle. 95 gets around Chevron. So 95 has a really, really good car as he worked his way through the pack, and now he's sitting up third. 3 wide now as the 40, the 24, the 88, and the 48, all teammates, getting a wreck here. And they're still wrecking. The 41 almost takes the 10 out. 41 sitting on the back stretch here, out of turn 2. And no caution is going to be called. Wow. I don't know if it was the 24 and the 48 that got into it, or if it was the 24 and the 88. Wasn't quite sure, but 24 got into one of those two and caused a chain reaction, which now we have that split up part as the 95 gets around the 48. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't the 48, it was the 41 that the 24 got into. As the 95 is now going to try to chase down Slade. Remember, Slade and Sports Kid have some beef after Talladega, where Slade is what some people say did a dirty move and took the win away from Sports Kid. Others says it was Rubbins Racing. As we look, we have the 42 trying to get past the 4 here. Remember, the 4 car needs as much points as he needs. He's not going to get on points. He's going to need to at least win tonight or next week, along with the defending champion, the 2017 Monster Energy NASCAR League Cup Series Remix, who's sitting in the back of the pack. And there's Slade pulling away, but it looks like the 95 is getting closer and closer each lap. Now the difference is the draft is going to help the 95 and the 48 get up to the 43. If they work together, if they hit their marks and not hit that apron and not battle as much, they would catch that 43. But again, pit road is going to be Tetris, as we saw some drivers pitted early, some drivers pitted late. As the 43 is still in the lead. Let's go inside the 43 here. He's running that bottom groove, and it looks like when he comes out of the corner, he hugs that white line. Getting onto that apron could really cause damage. Get on board with the 95. 48's tucked in right behind him. Doesn't look like he's going to challenge him, at least not yet, as the 48 gets really tight, but makes a run. And it looks like the 95 got hooked onto the apron. That's why he got a huge run. He's going to be going down pit road. As the 42 and the 48, or the 42 and the 4 lets the 42 by. You know, because of that, he's going to have to let the 88 by. Back of the pack, you have the 19, the 41. And coming to the start-finish line, 43 car of Slade. Again, we talk about how Smoke and Slade have dominated early in the season. And, you know, with Slade, his last one being Talladega, you look back, his last win besides Talladega was in the first round. As we are having another car come down. I believe that's the 24 car. Nope, that's not the 24 car. That's the 19 of Mike Man. It's the 95. Finally comes out of pit road. I'm not quite sure if he intended to go down pit road or if he just got hooked onto that apron. But the 48 read it. And he jumped to the outside lane and got around him. As we have more takers, the 42 and the 4 car now are pitting. And there's the 48 sitting second, right behind Slade, who is now going to turn 3. So has some pretty good distance going into turn 3 and 4 against the 48 of JC. And you have to admit, Slade and Smoke, as they came in, not a lot of people liked them. They had so much beef going into each race, causing a lot of problems. Obviously, the 43 and the 24, probably rivalry of the year. As he's still hugging that line, and now he moves up a groove, coming out of the corners now, so tires might be worn out. As now the 42 and the 4 come out of pit road. Everybody has some pretty good distance on each other. There's the 48 car of JC. Driving the throwback Lowe's Chevy Camaro. Remember, JC, you know, this is his last season in this organization as he's going to hang up the gloves, hang up the helmet. What a way it would be to go out on top as he won the regular season champion. As we see Slade now gonna pit, hits the outside wall there. Or inside wall, excuse me. Again, it's very, very Tetris getting onto the pit road, as we've seen a lot of guys have troubles getting onto pit road. We've seen some people spin out. We've seen some people hit that inside wall. As we're gonna hang on with the 95 car of Sports Kid, and it looks like Remix now is pitting. He really has to turn this race around if he wants to get into Homestead. .48, still your leader, has not pitted yet. As we're going to go on board with him. As he's now going to pit. Almost hit that inside wall. And a very, very, very smooth entry. With that, I do not know who the leader would be with the pit cycle. As the 24 car is now coming out of pit road. We're going to hang out with BH here. One of the guys that is in a must-win situation after he missed Martinsville. As we're getting closer and closer to the end of the stage here. .48 now coming out of pit road. Gonna make it 3 wide. Bradley gets past the 17 and keeps the 48 behind him. An aggressive move by Bradley of the 42 car. Question is he gonna let the 48 pass, or is he gonna have him battle? As the 10 car now is continuously lagging. He is all over the track. As the 17 now is gonna have to pit, coming down pit road, and then he spins out. Going to pit road. Very, very, very crucial to get into pit road. And as we continuously see, a lot of drivers are having issues getting on to pit road. As we see the 41 now leaving pit road, the 17 car, this is going to have to cost him a lot of track position and a lot of track time as he spins out going into the pit lane. On board with the 95 here. As he's going to try to get around the 88. Remember, early, the 88 knocked the 95 out of the groove, sent him all the way back. Is he going to race him the same way, or is he going to... He's going to give him the bumper. The 95 is not happy with the 88 right now, as they are battling. I really wish I could see who's sitting where. As he's about to clear him. And he finally clears him. The 95 now ahead of the 88, and it was not an easy task. Now we see teammates, the 4 and the 10, both of them in must-win situations. The 4 is going to let the 10 by. Very, very interesting with the 10 lagging the past few moments of the race, throughout the race. Looks like the 10 car has a better 1 and 2 than the 4 car, but he is still consistently lagging right now. On board with the 24 of Texas Tech and the Exalta Rainbow Warrior. I believe Kevron is your race leader. As we're on board with JC here. Kevron right in front of him. Could he spoil another playoffs driver's opportunity to lock themselves into the Final Four? He has the car to do it. Kevron subbing for football. As we see the 43 and the 17 on track, battling. Remember, the 17 car got into pit road and spun out. So he must have lost a lot of time. As we're on board with Darth Bud, trying to chase down the 95 here. There's Beej. Yeah, something is not right with Beej's car, as the 10 car has now pulled away, and I believe the 4 car ended up pitting after the 10 car. There's the 48 car. He's catching the 41. Now again, I'm not quite sure who the leader is after the pit stop cycles. However, my bet is the 41 car, which is right in front of JC. Now I'm not 100% sure, but that my money is on Kevron right now. Remember, subbing for football. As the laps are winding down for the end of stage 2. We're going to go on board with JC, see what he's seeing. And that's the 48 of JC and the Lowe's Chevrolet Camaro. Again, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this stage. And that is the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get confirmation on who won that stage. Who won that stage, real quick? Slade. Alright, thank you. So Slade was the one who won stage 2. thought it was going to be the 41. Obviously, again, it would be nice to actually see who is running where. So Kevron, the 41 car, wins stage 1, and the 43 car of Slade wins stage 2. As we are about to go green again, they are getting their pit road adjustments in. As Slade is about to take it green flag. Green flag back in the air. The 43 car gets a nice jump. The outside lane still having issues getting up to speed. 95 all over the back of the 43 car of Slade, that sports kid. Right behind him, giving a nice little shove, is Bradley, also affiliated with the Hendrick Motorsports cars. Oh, big wreck! The 41 of the 10 car! Get into it! Big playoff implications right now. As caution does not come out. Very, very Tetris. As the 17 car now is getting really, really wide, hugging against the wall. As the 10 car and the 41 car is now back up into the gears. Not quite sure what happened there between the 41 and the 10, but the 10 car just having bad luck. Along with the 4 car, those two drivers in a must-win situation. Their performance today is not the best. We still got a long ways to go, however. They can turn around, but I just don't see how the 4 or the 10 car will get back into the playoff situation. As we look ahead, the 43 car of Slade still in the lead. 95 Sports Kid right behind him. And right behind him is the 42 car of Bradley. Now a driver that has worked his way back up through the field, the hometown hero, the Rainbow Warrior, Texas Tech. Currently sitting 5th right now. Trying to get around Darth Bud right now. As the 43 now is in the wall. That allows the 95 to get around him. 95 takes the lead. The 42 now is going to take the lead. The 24 now gets around Darth Bud. Looks like the 43 just got tight. Got into the wall there. '95 car now in the lead. '95 of the 43 now battling back and forth. '43 car looks like he just has a loose car. Having issues with that. '95 gets a little wide going into turn 1. 43 could have taken it away from the 95. But decided not to. As we look behind him, as we see the 42 now looking inside, not gonna quite get it. Bradley really putting the pressure on the 43 car, but the 43 has known to have thick skin, known to not have any issues bother him. As the 95 is slowly pulling away, the 42 now is going to look inside, and we have a caution now. Not quite sure for what. Yeah, the 41. Not quite sure what happened there. But if any of my guesses, it would be the 10 car and the 41 car. Not quite sure. As we're about to go green again, they just got to confirm their setups and whatnot. Again, not quite sure what happened. But Darth Butt's either taking two or staying out. As we're green flag back in the air. 43 all over the back bumper of the 88. The outside lane now actually has a good run. That's the 95. Still staying with the 88. All over the back bumper of the 24 of the 43. They gave loose. The 10 car staying in the back, hoping for a caution. The 88 moves up to the outside lane. I don't really know why he would do that. I don't know if he got hit, but the 43 car now is going to take the lead. '43 clears the 88, but right behind him, the 24 of Texas Tech, and oh, the 10 car! Oh, no. My apologies. Like pre-ejaculation there. I thought the 10 car wrecked, but ended up lagging. The 4 car now falling back into the last place position. You have the 10, the 41, and the 4. All teammates sitting in the back of the pack. The 88 car, I believe he took 2, falling back. As we are riding with 43 of Slade, right behind him, rival 24 of Texas Tech, trying to get his first cup win at Texas. He got his first cup win, or first truck win earlier this weekend at Texas. As the 43, he just seems to have not a lot of power, a lot of acceleration. As we have a car in the, that is the 4 car that smacked the inside wall coming out of turn 2. Not quite sure if he got loose or if he was battling with 41. But all over the back bumper of the 10. 41 gets in the back, or the side of the 42. And oh, the 24 car! Big wreck! Cars are flying! Caution's out! Not quite sure if the 24 car got into the side of, it looked like the 48. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what happened, but collected everybody in the back of the field. Cars were flying. Cars were sliding all over the place. But with that, the 24 car now in the lead. As we're green flag back in the air. The 10 car falls all the way back. The 24 car holding off the 19. 19 did not get a good jump. But all over the back of the bumper is the 42, and the 95 gets in the side of the 42. As you can hear the crowd roar, the hometown hero of the 24, Texas Tech, leads at Texas. But to spoil the party is the 95 sports kid looking into the inside. '24 car of Texas Tech is not going to let it go easy as he barely gets in between the 48 and the 24. And right now, the 41. Oh, big wreck. And caution's going to come out. The 24 car went through the grass. I'm not quite sure if he got loose or if he hit somebody. Not quite sure. But he got through the grass. I was paying attention to the 41 car. The 41 car ended up going through the grass as well. Not quite sure what happened there. But it looks like some people are not going to be pitting. JC being one of them. And here we go. 95 Sports Kid, your leader. As we're green flag back in the air. 10 car again fall into the back. It must be his connection. Letting other drivers by. As everybody ducking into the inside lane. You have the 95 with Sports Kid. Right behind him, Darth Bud. Gonna look behind. 17 car got a little wide. 88 car is gonna try to challenge him on the outside. Oh, the 24 and the 4 get into it. The 43 wide. The 24 and the 42. Or the 10, excuse me. And the caution comes out again. Looks like the 24 and the 4 got into it coming off of turn 2. Got the 24 loose and ended up turning him to the inside wall. He overcorrected it and got caught up with the 10 car. All the cautions are happening right now. But it looks like Sports, Darth Bud are going to be staying out along with JC and Bradley and Texas Tech as of right now. Sports is going to be pitting. That allows Darth Bud if he doesn't pit. So Darth Bud is going to be your leader. Actually, no, never mind. Last minute. As green flag back in the air. 42 are Bradley in the lead. But the 24 of Texas Tech, again, the hometown hero. As they go into turn 1. The 95, the 43, big wreck. The 4 car gets that by it. And the caution comes out. It looks like the 95 got hooked onto the apron and just collected everybody else. A lot of wrecks happening late in the race. This allows, like Beach, who's now sitting 4th, he got through the wreck He's now sitting fourth. A driver that has to win either Texas or Phoenix to get into the Final Four. In a must-win situation, this helps him. As the 42 of Bradley now is your leader. As green flag back in the air. 42 got loose. Loose on the restart, must have spun its tires, but holds on to the lead as everybody else, a wasp nest, most like. The 4 car, Beach, in a must-win situation, looking to the outside. The 24 are going to take that spot. We got a car through the infield. The 10 car remix. 45 laps to go. We're going to have to pit. But the 42 now, trying to hold on to the lead. The 24 and the 95 get into it. All bets are off. The 10 car is still lagging. The 24 is hung out to dry, and it looks like the 95 is going to get into the inside. The 42 gets into the wall. Oh, the 4, big wreck! Big wreck behind. As they're still wrecking. The 4 car went to the inside, but the 24 just smacked the outside wall and collected a big pile of cars. Huge playoff implications. As Sports Kid is still your leader, as he took the lead from Bradley. I believe the chain reaction from Bradley getting too tight, from the 95 passing him, getting into the wall, causing that wreck. A lot of people checking up. Looks like a lot of drivers are going to be pitting. Texas Tech is not going to be pitting. Or maybe he was. But Sports Kid is the leader. Green flag back in the air. The 24 has no help. And there goes the 10, letting everybody pass. 24 car gets in front of the 17. And we got another wreck. The 88 and the 48 getting into it. Caution is not called. As the 95 of Sports Kid leading the race. Trying to keep his friend, his affiliate, maybe a team owner next year, behind him. Kevron sitting third, trying to make a move on the 24. As we have 38 laps to go. The 24 holding the 17, the 41 off. With this, the 95 is pulling away. Oh, looks like the 42 gets to the 43. As we ride with Beach. Sitting far in the back. The 41 gets onto the apron, gets loose. What a save. But because of that, he has to fall all the way back into this pack. relinquishing third place. You have the 95, the 24, the 17, and the 43, and the 42. Your top 5. And again, bitter rivals, the 43 and the 24, sitting second and third. With 35 laps to go. The 17 trying to make it to the outside. The 43 moves the 24. The 43 giving the bumper to the 24. Again, bitter rivals. The 43 unhappy with the 24. 43 looking to the inside, moves the 24, big wreck! As they're still wrecking behind them. Caution is out. The 43 and the 24. Again, bitter rivals. The 43 was getting very aggravated with the 24, giving him the bumper. The 24 was not moving. The 43 moves the 24 out of the way going into turn 3 and 4, causing a huge wreck. Again, big playoff implications. As 95 Sports Kid takes the green flag back in the air. 42 did not get a good jump. But right behind the 95, the guy that has to win. Beej sitting in the number 4 car. All things are about to get dicey, ladies and gentlemen. As you still have the 10 car lagging. The 95 just watching it all in his mirror. As you see the 43 and the 24 side by side again. But the 95 pulling away. Right behind him, Bradley in the 42. All over the back bumper of the 42 is the 41 of Kevron. Subbing for football. But behind them, the 17 gets into the wall. Oh, big wreck! The 24 looks like he got into the wall, but I don't know exactly what happened right in front of him. Looked like the 88 got into the wall too. But caution comes out yet again. The 24 of the hometown hero, the hometown kid, trying to win his first cup race at Texas. Having a lot of issues right now. Slade now is going to be your leader. Green flag back in the air. The 43 gets a nice jump. The 10 car's still lagging. He's going to let everybody else pass. But right behind the 43, the 95 moves the 41 out of the way. The 95 and the 43 battling. You have to believe the 95, seeing the 43 in front of him, is eating him alive, knowing what the 43 did at Talladega. The 43 gets wide. The 95 looks to the inside. 95 takes the lead. 43 falls right behind him, giving a nice little bumper. The 10 car's still lagging. The 24 car now, sitting third, has the 43 in sights. Is he going to play nice, or is he going to play fair? The 43 now looking to the outside of the 95. We haven't seen it work. They're going to be side by side coming out of turn number 4. We have a car through the grass. That's going to be the 10 car remix. Still side by side. 20 laps to go. The 95 and the 43 battling back and forth. Right behind him is the 24 car. The 43 tucks in right behind him. We got a car on the wall. That's going to be Bradley. Actually, no, that's going to be Beej. Beej and the 17, and we got a wreck. It's going to be the SHR guys, and that's going to bring out the caution. With less than 20 laps to go. You have Slate pitting. You have Kevron pitting. You have Smoke pitting. Bradley pitting. Sports Kid is going to pit. You're going to have a lot of guys come down pit road. Beej and Texas. Actually, Beej is the only one that looks like he's not going to be pitting. The 95. Green flag back in the air. The 95 gets ahead of the 19. As we still see the number 10 car of Remix still lagging, but oh, big wreck! The 24 car, the 48, the 41 getting in a wreck, and caution comes out. We're seeing a lot of wrecks, a lot of cautions, because it means a lot to these drivers what it means to get into the Final Four. Nobody is locked in yet. As the 95 and the 4 take the green flag back in the air. All over the bumper is the 43. The 43 looking to the inside. 43 takes the lead, gets into the 95. Right behind him is the 88. The 10 car still lagging. The 43 now in the lead with 10 laps to go. The 10 car now spinning on the backstretch. And that's going to be a caution. Looks like the 10 and the 19 got into it coming off turn 2. The 10 car's still lagging. Not a lot of drivers pitting. With less than 10 laps to go. Who's going to pit? Who's going to come down? You have Darth Bud, Beej, Bradley, and Mike Mann so far. Texas Tech now. Possibly. Has green flag back in the air. The 43 car gets a nice jump. The 95 still on the inside or the outside. The 17 trying to knock the 95 out of the groove. The 17 now trying to look to the outside. And another wreck. The 4 and the 48. Now the 24 around. The 10 car involved. The 88. The 42. The 48. The 19. As we continue to wreck here at Texas. But on the restart, the 95 was trying to hold his line and trying to keep that second place spot. The 17 knocks the 95 out of the way. With this though, Slade and Smoke are going to be on the starting the front row. So you have to believe maybe the 95 will probably do the same thing to the 17 car. Green flag back in the air. The 43 gets a nice jump. The 17 still holding on. The 95 clears the 17. The 43 really low off the corner. The 42 now getting a run. White flag in the air. The 24 car in the wall. The 48 car. Or the 88. Not quite sure if that's going to be caution or not. Caution is out. We did get a message. Caution is out. The race is going back into overtime. the 24 car and the 88 car, and it looked like the 4 car all got into that wreck coming off of turn number 4 right before Slade was about to take the checker flag. NASCAR overtime, green flag back in the air. The 43 gets a nice jump. But he has the 42, the 95, and the 48. The 41 knocks the 48 out of the way. The 42 looks to the inside of the 43. White flag is out, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Bradley looking for his first win in the Cup Series. The 43 looking to punch his ticket to Homestead. Coming out of turn number 4, the 43 of Slade. Big wreck. Slade punches his ticket to Homestead. Slade wins this race. Darth Butt finishing second. Beej getting third. Fourth is Mike Man. Fifth, Kevron. Sixth, Texas. Seventh, Remix. Eighth, JC. Ninth is Bradley. 10th is the 95 of Sports Kid. What a finish. We're going to get some of the playoff drivers in here. We're going to get Slade in here. Give me 1 second. Let me get him into the booth. What a finish. As we are now joined by Slade here. Slade, you had to win this race to secure your spot going into the Final Four. There's rumors going around that you're going to be leaving this organization later or after the season. You had a lot of ups and downs in this playoffs. You won Talladega advancing yourself into the round of 6. You had to win to secure your spot. How do you feel?
Um, I felt really good about myself. I feel like I had the not really the dominant car, but because Sports was very fast. Um, who else? Sports. Bradley had a really good car. Um, and then JC had a good car, and Smoke Zmog, who was trapped back a good bit, had a really good car. But I feel like we led a lot of laps, probably the most laps today, and probably should have swept everything if I hit the wall in stage one. Probably should have won that. But oh, Kevin, I forgot Kevin. Kevin also had a very good car. I forgot he was in there. But everyone had very good cars today, so for me to come out with that win was pretty pretty special, just because everyone it wasn't really like I was the main car. I had a lot of guys to compete with today, and it felt really good to get the win. But I was already pretty good in points. I had a horrible Martinsville, and I'm pretty sure I was like only like 3 points ahead of JC, but I was like I think 20 points ahead of the cutoff. So this ISM'd up my best track. So for me to get the win here and not worry about ISM is huge going into Homestead.
Now, we did see earlier in the race, you and the 24 were getting into it. We know that you guys are rivals. What was going through your mind when the 24 was sitting second and the laps were winding down and you could not get past them?
Everyone in the Discord was, or everyone behind me and in the Discord was not really mad at me for that decision. Um, 24 was holding me up. I've assumed either he was trying to block for the 95 because 95 is his teammate or co-teammate or whatever, or something like that. He's mad at me for something I did in the past. That's what I assumed, and I made him like I was just pushing him for like 3 straight laps, bumping him, bumping him, bumping him, and I saw the ticker in the top left go from like zero point 0.7 seconds to when I got to Texas, it was like 1.3. That's how bad he was holding me up because I knew I could compete with Sports. Sports was just going away so fast. And then going into 3 on that 4th lap, I go to the inside, and there's he gave me no room. They kind of just cut me off, and that created a wreck, and that kind of started the quote-unquote wreck fest that we had because we had like 5 cautions right after that in a quick span. So I don't know what his problem is. I've been here a little bit. I mean, I've been here since Sonoma. Sonoma was my first race, and it's just been I forget what race it was. I believe it was Daytona, my second race, I believe. That me and him had our first altercation. I said something about like these guys not holding a line at Daytona, and I just kept calling it out because I was kind of irritated by it. Because Daytona, you have to hold. It's one of the tracks where it's a must to hold your line, and a lot of guys weren't doing it. And he made a smart little comment. So, oh, I was back. Excuse me for that. But it's just been going on since then. I don't think we had any issues at Martinsville. Bristol was a pretty bad issue. He wasn't happy at me at Indianapolis because I pushed Remix there, but it's whatever. I'm going to Homestead. He's not, so that's how I look at it.
Now, you were leading the last few laps. You came out of turn 4. You were about to take the checker flag, and the wreck happened, and we had to do it all over again. What was going through your mind when you were just a couple feet away from taking that checker flag and advancing yourself right in there?
I was pretty mad, man. To be honest with you, I was everyone in the lobby, no matter what position they were in. I had Sports. I believe Bradley and Remix. I think we were the 4. I think JC. I don't know if Bradley was, but I'm pretty sure JC was like complaining that the caution came out when we already took the white flag like a couple feet from the start finish line. But it's just whatever. It was a problem in the game last year, just like the cautions not coming out when they should. But I feel like the flag that say the same, but the cautions have gotten worse. So it's just a game issue they need to fix. Yeah, I was pretty first. I was kind of not really scared, but I was pretty nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen because I know Bradley yet not in the round of 6. He's still wanting to get a win, so I just didn't know what I was going to do. But I felt like because I felt like whatever that last pit stop I had, I didn't take any fuel, so I had a lighter car because I had less fuel in it than some guys who already pit. So I knew my car could just shoot out like a rocket if I got out in front, which it did, but about lost it. Turn 3 in that final lap, I about wrecked it. I was worried about it, but in the long run, it didn't really affect affected me, but it hurt a lot of guys. I know Sports Kid finished 10th, Smokesy Mug finished 11th um, on the last lap car, last lap wrecks. So it's something the game needs to fix for sure. But yeah,
Now, you did mention earlier about you don't have to worry about ISM. A lot of people were worried about the Roval earlier in the playoffs. You had to win the first two races or first couple races to get ahead, so therefore you don't have to worry about the Roval. With the ISM, with the recreation of Phoenix, what does it mean for not only you but other drivers that pretty much now have secured their spot by points mean going into that race?
um, personally, it's just a track that I just find, at least for my custom race, it was a track I just found difficult. I know it's pretty much the exact same, except they changed the front stretch, but like just how loose you can get at the very bottom. I don't know if it's just custom setups, or even maybe in defaults, how loose you can get in the very bottom of the new 1 and 2, and then how important it is to get your nose down in 3 and 4, and how to watch out for that inside wall is so crucial. And it means a lot for me because I don't know if you, at the Roval, it was a track that I wasn't good at. I think that was my first non-top five and it was my first race where I didn't finish in top five and I didn't lead a lap in this league. I started back in Sonoma, so that was a problem for me. I'm just glad I won. What was it? Was Dega before the Roval? If I'm not mistaken.
Dega was in the round
Dega,
of six. So
Dega was in the.
you had Richmond and Dover, I believe. No, you had Vegas and you had Richmond. Then you
I
had
think it was. I think it was no, it was Dega. It was Dover and Dega because I remix won Dover and I won Dega. That's right. Um, wait, are we? Yeah, that was round 8. Yeah, but still, other guys are hoping to get in that race. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. I kind of forgot schedule too, but yeah, but it means a lot for me not going there and worry about it. I'm pretty sure even if I didn't win that race, I was good on points because I had a great points day. Second in stage one, stage two, and I would have finished somewhere good in there. Stage 3, but still, it means a lot for me not having to worry about that ISM raceway.
absolutely. Well, congratulations again. It was a really, really interesting race towards the end with all that wrecks, and for you to pull out, I want to congratulate you and your your first official playoff driver to make it to the Homestead race.
Yep, thank you. You did a good job in booth.
All right, we're gonna get the hometown hero, Texas Tech, in here. Try to get him into this interview real quick and get his thoughts about the race. Again, the 43 car is your first ever driver in the playoffs to make it to the Final Four. As we are joined now by what they called the hometown hero. How does it feel when you took that green flag and you heard the crowd roar for your name when you took that? You finally took the lead lap and take the lead.
Well, it was pretty exciting. Didn't think I was going to get there. We had a good car all day. The 10 was he was lagging and he wrecked me a couple times, and then got mad at me and continued to wreck me because of his lag. So I had to get around, people like that all night. So once we got past them, I mean, you guys probably saw. Once I got about 5th or higher, I was good. I was able to race. I mean, I was up there racing with the 43 for a long time. But it was fun. It's always fun to lead at Texas. But I mean, it's just one of my best tracks.
And like you said, we did see you had a lot of issues in the beginning of the race. You had a decent car, and then you had to fall back just because either people were knocking you out of the way or you were just consistently getting wrecked. But when you finally got up there, like you said, you did have a good car. Did you think you were going to win towards the end of the race?
I mean, we had to beat the 43 and the 95. I think we could have. We were faster than the 42. We were faster than the 41. We were faster than the 4. We were faster than the 48. I really think we had at least a third place car. But there was a lot of, I don't really want to say bad situations we were in, but I want to say more confusing. At one point my car was handling kind of bad in the draft, and the 95 was put his nose in there, and we'd be running second, and we'd go back to 7th or 8th. So that was kind of confusing, just because I was behind the 42, who was just on old tires, 20 lap older tires. We kind of had to deal with that all night. So just kind of being shuffled back, but they're running for championships, so I get it. If it was me, the 95 and the 43 that were battling for the win, I think I could have got it. Yeah.
Now, we did see, speaking of the 43, we know that you guys aren't the best of friends on the track. We saw that towards the end of the race, about 20 laps to go, you were sitting second, 95 was pulling away, 43 just kept giving you the bumper, and then he finally knocked you out of the way. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, so I don't know what it is about some of those guys, but they want to drive it like it's a plate track. They want to hug the line, whatever, and they don't want to give you room whenever you're on the outside. So he was running it like it was a plate track, so I ran it like it was a plate track, but obviously you have to let off more if you're running down there, and he just was inconsiderate as always and just drove in the back of me. And I think that particular time he moved me out of the way, he just drove on the apron and wrecked me. So nothing really surprising from him. That's just how he races. If he thinks he's in the playoffs, everyone should pull over and let him by. I'm here to win, so if he's gonna drive like an ass, I'm gonna drive like an ass, and that's kind of what I said to my spotter all night.
Now, is that gonna reflect going into Homestead, knowing that he is one of the playoff fours?
I mean, every race I just reset it. Me and the 43 actually had a really good battle at the beginning of the race. For a couple times in the race, we had a really good battle. Same thing in Martinsville. We got our shit together at Martinsville after we, ran into each other a lot. Got our shit together. Had some really good battling. We had good battling tonight, and then came down to crunch time, and he just was over aggressive. So I was over aggressive back. And that's just how he's not a bad dude. He's not a bad racer. We've had really great battles. So every week I just, it's a clean slate for everybody, and then I'll race you clean, and then once you give me the bumper, expect it back.
A couple more questions. Now, Slade was talking about now he doesn't have to worry about ISM, the recreated version of Phoenix. What does it mean for you and other drivers that either are outside of the playoffs or trying to get into the playoffs? What does that mean now heading into the ISM?
I'm just here to win at this point. I'm out of the playoffs. I don't, kind of like I said earlier, I gambled on both of those stages. We got taken out by the 10 both of those stages, and a caution didn't come out. So we gambled both those stages just because playoff points don't mean anything to me now. Really, no points mean anything. I'm just trying to get a win. So I'm just going to go out there and try to get a win. That's really all I can do. So, we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see how people race, and then it's a short track, so you never know what old rivalries will spark up or what new rivalries will be started.
All right. Do you have anything to say to your hometown crowd who's cheering you on tonight?
I hope the race was good. I had fun, so hopefully it was better than I thought it was going to be. If I'm going to be completely honest, the way the race started was kind of but it was really fun. I hope the race looked as good as it was. There was a lot of really good battles going on.
All right. Well, the driver, number 24, Exelta, Texas Tech. Thank you for joining me.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
obviously a sign of defeat heading into ISM, looking to get his get another win, possibly, and try to take one of the playoff spots away. So we're gonna try to get Remix in here, driving the number 10, Smithfield.
How's it going, Predator?
All right, how are you doing, Remix? Explain what you had to do to go into this race. We tried to get you earlier in this race or in this broadcast. Obviously, we were having issues. You were in a must-win situation. You were having issues with your internet. Tell me, what did you have to do to at least get some points to kind of contest?
I'm gonna start answering, but at any point you hear me, just let me know. I came in here, I knew fine, I knew aggressive, but I was planning on giving anyone the bumper because to get to Homestead, I don't want in favor. But then the 24, I just heard his interview. 24 put in the race, and somebody raced me. First I gave a bumper. It was just him back. So I was gonna race my race this race. I was gonna stay out of everyone's way. I did for the race. I know I lagged a little bit, but I had Texas. I guess going for his first long time and first one in Texas in his hometown. He got kind of desperate and decided giving bumpers to play when you're not even to the playoffs. I guess he got it back. We're not happy with him. Not one driver I know, for the majority, happy with the way he was racing. So I came in here with a clear mind, saying race clean. Then the 24 got to me, and that's pretty much how this race went.
Now, like I said, there was a lot of talk about you and Beej, obviously being the two bottom drivers, being 40 and 50 points out from the good. You had to win Texas or you have to win ISM. You didn't win Texas, so now you're in a must-win situation to defend your title. What do you have to do with this recreated Phoenix territory track to get yourself into the Final Four?
Funny you asked. I already made a list. Be aware of my team. He's really, really good at ISM. He showed a lot of here earlier in the last race. And so yeah, be aware of the way he's racing. Just try to adapt to his lines. I'm quick, but not as quick. Other thing on that list is stay away from the 24, as apparently he's not very fond of me. And other than that, I'm just pretty much gonna go into same with every other thing that's common collective until something happens, and I'm gonna race the best I can because I know I have momentum because I had a good race tonight. I'm not mad about it, but I just need to stay away from people that I know are not good news.
Now, when we go into ISM, we known you as kind of the must-win scenario where you had to win Indianapolis. You won Indianapolis. You had to win, certain tracks to advance yourself into the next round. Are we going
Dover.
to Dover? Oh, thank you. If we don't see you win ISM, what is your mindset going into Homestead?
That's it. I'm not gonna be mad. All I know is I got to win. I got multiple wins this season, and that's the most wins of all in the league. So that's the only thing it's really focusing on right now. I'm not making the Final Four because really when it comes down to it, if I'm finishing good, the playoffs aren't really the concern. If I'm top 5, if I've got speed to compete with the fight, if I'm doing I'm doing good enough or better than people, and if I'm passing guys, just things I'm not focused on. I'm not focused on if I don't make the Final Four, because if I focus on that, I'd be focusing on just something negative. It can come out of something.
Absolutely. Well, Remix, again, thank you for joining us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how you do at ISM and try to get yourself into the Final Four.
Thank you so much for having me.
Driver the number 10. We're going to try to get Sports in here, get his thoughts, as he pretty much did a fantastic job in this race. Driver the number 95. Try to get him in here, get his thoughts on how the race was, and I believe he still is obviously he's really good on points. I believe he's sitting third right now, if not second. He just has to. Oh well, he can't do an interview, so we'll try to get somebody else in here and do an interview. Try to get Bradley in here. Driver the number 42. All right, now I'm joined with the 42 DC Solar of the Chevrolet, Bradley. Bradley, obviously you were knocked out at the round of 6 at Kansas. You went into you weren't there at Martinsville. You relied on Predator. Didn't really do a good job. But to be honest, you as I talked to Remix and I talked to Texas and I talked to Slade so far, they all said the 42, and you were up there battling for the lead. What could you have done differently to get yourself into a winning predicament? Bradley? There you go. All right.
That's how frustrated I am. But I was in a winning position, but got side by side with 95, couldn't get to the back of the 43. Coming off of 4, I was in second. I was either to finish second or third, but 41 said I went up the lane when there was no room for a car to be below me, and he just took me out. Went from a second or third finish to a 9th place finish.
Now we saw, obviously a really clean race in the first 2 stages, but when we got to the last stage, a lot was on the line. You had the 4 car and the 10 car trying to finish at a decent to get enough points, if not the win, to advance themselves. Now, obviously, you're not in the playoffs. What did you think of all the wrecks that were happening, and especially the last one that was coming up, where Slade was about to take the checker flag, and a caution happened?
To be honest with you, I do not know what happened with when Slade was getting ready to take the checkered flag, but most of the wrecks I was in front of, so I really didn't get a good view of them. But a lot of them were people saying remix lagging, and then there's a couple of them don't know what happened, but a couple of them people said that Texas caused, and it was just a chaotic third stage.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about ISM. Slade is saying, thank goodness he finished, first. He advanced himself into the Final Four. He doesn't have to worry about ISM. Drivers like you that are not in the playoffs, that are going to show up, what is your mindset going into the new recreated Phoenix?
I've ran there a few times already. I feel comfortable about it. Every time I've went to ISM, I've finished pretty decent. Had a chance to win there in the spring, but got taken out on the last lap wreck. But other than that, I feel confident about ISM, and hopefully I can go out there and get the win.
And you're one of the drivers that have not won in their career in the Cup Series. What do you have to do the next 2 races kind of, go out on top, to have a good finish. Try not to get your first win either at ISM or Homestead.
Don't be Mr. Nice Guy. That's what I gotta do.
Right. Do you have anything else do you want to say to this beautiful Texas crowd?
Had a fun race. Got taken out last lap. Hope y'all enjoyed.
All right. Thank you again, Bradley. That was a very, very interesting show. We were all rooting for you as you were one of the non-playoff drivers trying to get your first win.
Thank
All right. We'll try to get JC in here and be the last interview for tonight. Get his thoughts. JC, obviously, driver the number 48. Try to get him in here. Have a nice little chit chat. See how he does. Just waiting to see if he's going to join or not. Very, very interesting race towards the end. I don't think he is going to join. Yep. He's not going to join. So we'll try to get Beej in here. If not, then we'll call it a quit. JC replied saying garbage day. Obviously not a good day for him. But Beej, obviously driver of the number 4, one of the guys that has to get into the final 4 here. Must-win situation. And if we don't get Beej, then will be the end of the broadcast. Tell me what you guys thought about the race. Obviously, the beginning of the race was very, very I wouldn't say boring. It was very confusing, obviously, with all the pit stops that were going on. Just trying to figure out who was where and who was leading the race. Again, Kevron winning the pole and then winning stage 1, and then stage 2 was won by Slade. And then stage 3 happened. A lot of wrecks happened. A lot of wrecks happened. It was just caution after caution. But I don't think Beej is going to join. So, but I will end it right there. But a lot of wrecks happen. Very, very interesting day for some drivers. Again, congratulations to the 43 winning the race. He is the first driver to make it to the playoffs. Eventually, the points will be updated. I believe the 48 and the 95 are locked in. Those would be the 3. Smokes still being on the outside if Beej or Remix wins next week at ISM. But other than that, it was a very interesting race. 43 got the win. A lot of wrecks happened, like I said. You heard from most of the drivers what they thought. Leave a comment down below what you think. And this is Predator again for the AAA 500 at Texas Motor Speedway for the Monster Energy NASCAR League. Checking out.